Hey, good morning, and welcome back to a Gadolinium journal review. This is Debbie, and I'm a patient, not a doctor, not giving medical advice, just sharing some information. Patients are sick. We're trying to figure out, put the puzzle pieces together. What happened? How do we figure this out? How do we get well? And there are ways to feel better. I'm not sure we can eradicate this particular heavy metal all the way out of our body. Number one, there's not an FDA cure or antidote for it. So when you do inject it, you just need to know that it is retained, and that's facts. Those are the facts. So it's retained in the brain, the bone, the body, the brain, the bones, the tissue, and the organs throughout the body. And that's just fact, and it's documented. But maybe you can prevent being injected, or maybe you can find ways to get your lymphatic system going so that it's pulling out as much as it can and eliminating as much as it can so that it's not creating chaos in the body, right? But today I have this fun document, and I will post it with the video that I'm doing, and I'm going to try and keep this 3 to 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes. And I just want to go through these. If you haven't, if you have things going on in your body and you haven't been able to get answers or whatever, these are some things on this list, and I wish I knew who created this list. It's an amazing list, and I'm not going to go over all of them, but I am going to just talk about a few. And I don't know who the author is, but kudos to you. You get all the credits. You created this incredible document and food for thought, and thank you so much. I'm going to share it, and I hope that's okay. So the title of the document is Your Body Never Attacks Itself, right? And when we give it some thought, that's pretty cool to think about, that our body was created this perfect image, and it has everything it needs to keep going and live in homeostasis. That's the goal, right? But we live in a real world filled with toxins, filled with incredible challenges and trials and tribulations, or whatever you want to call it, that keep us on our toes. And a lot more people are sicker than ever before. I recently updated my bio, and I said millions of ill and medically injured patients in thousands of support groups around the world cannot all be wrong. There's something wrong with our healthcare system, at least, that we need to challenge it and evolve it and ask questions differently and approach it differently. And I think the world is in a whole, for all the sectors in our world, we're starting to question and ask and drive change and try new things and figure out how to live less toxic. So anyway, I'm going to jump into this list. I'm just going to give a couple of the things on the list, and then I'd suggest, maybe looking at this list. So the title is The Body Never Attacks Itself, and then it lists all these symptoms, and these are symptoms that we all experience when we don't feel well. And our first reaction, at least how I was raised, you run to the doctor. They have a quick fix. They'll give you a pill, they'll have a surgery, they'll have a procedure, and that can make you feel better. Sometimes that's not always the case, and I learned the hard way when I was poisoned with gadolinium, which is used in imaging, and it's a toxic rare earth metal, but we're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to talk about this list. So some of the things on the list are fever, inflammation, infection, a cough, a tumor, high blood pressure, eczema, bad posture, diarrhea, blurred vision, vomiting, cancer, osteoporosis, high cholesterol, insomnia, gout, constipation, varicose veins, excessive sweating, allergies, heartburn, anxiety, fatigue. That's a long list, right? And that's not even an inclusive list because our body's so amazing. I didn't know about the body the way I do today. I went back to school, laying in bed for 11 months, taking these classes because I was so sick I couldn't do anything else. So I figured I might as well get educated. Went back to school, got my certification in functional nutrition, and that wasn't the goal. The goal was to figure out how to fix myself because I was so sick. I was pretty sure I was dying. But anyway, so this list resonates with me, and that's why I want to share it with you. So we talked about all the things on the list, but it's funny because the fever is really just raising the body's temperature. And sure, when it hits a certain ratio, you want to be careful, but there are ways to bring a fever down or let the fever burn itself out, right? The fever can burn itself out. Maybe you take something to help bring it down. Maybe you take a Epsom salt bath. There's all kinds of things that we can do that we're empowered as the patient to be able to do, besides running to the doctor and looking for a quick fix. And I'm not saying don't go to the doctor. I'm not saying don't go there and get their consultation and whatever and help you, because there's a million people in the medical profession who are just treasures to our world and are doing incredible things and are so helpful to us. But we can be empowered to do a lot of things. That's the point of this video. So inflammation, that's really just the defense that our cells in our body set off to alert us. Hey, pay attention, something's going on. What's going on? You're not treating me as good as you could, and I'm your vessel to carry you through your life. So take care of me. And it's inflamed. So then, there's always a root cause, maybe multiple root causes, because we live in such a toxic world. Comorbidities exist everywhere. But maybe we don't want to continue to put more stuff in our body at that point. Maybe less is better. You have to decide. It's your body. You know what you put in it. You know what you ate, what you drank, what you injected, whatever. And maybe just ask questions differently. Why is my body inflamed? I mean, I learned the hard way with pancreatitis. I was eating fats. I was drinking citric acid, which isn't even citric acid. I thought came from fruits, natural fruits of lemons and limes. But no, it's a man-made fungus. It's an FDA-approved product that is a preservative. And so my pancreas got really inflamed, and I never connected the dots for years. And I still, there's no proof. But the point is, if we stop, pause, and look and say, what am I doing to contribute to some of these things that are going on? So inflammation's a big one. It's a red flag. It's flashing. It's like, hey, pay attention, pay attention. So ask questions. What have I done that could be causing this? You get a cough. Well, cough is really just the body's way of eliminating things in the lining of the lung. So we're breathing in toxins all the time in the air. You might have driven down a road and it was dusty. You've taken in some particles, and the body's coughing just to get rid of things. And then when we get sick, the body attacks itself and it's building mucus and that kind of thing, right? And so I guess the point of this is, if you go through this laundry list and then you look at each one of these, the cough, the tumor, the diarrhea, the blurred vision, the vomiting, there are things that we know intuitively about our own selves that we don't give credit to ourselves for, that we can use to empower ourselves to feel better, to figure out a way to reach back in homeostasis before we start putting chemicals, heavy metals, synthetics into our body, because our body doesn't really know how to utilize those things. And then we're just adding to the toxic burden. So it's building, and then it overflows, right? Which then you just are sicker and sicker and sicker. It's not a perfect example. This isn't a perfect podcast, but it is meant to encourage you to please be empowered. Please know that you know more about your body than anyone, because you live in it every single day. And yes, the medical profession is there to help us, and they do a great job. And there are millions of people that are employed in healthcare that are doing all the right reasons. They have a calling to serve, and they can serve us, but they're busy. They're busy, and a lot of times 10-minute visits not going to figure out that you've been eating the wrong things for months, and your body is just like, I'm done, stop. That's why I'm inflamed. That's why I'm unhappy. So anyway, be empowered. You can do many things to maintain homeostasis or get yourself back to homeostasis. Okay? Take the trash out from the inside of your body. And if you want to know about more things, there are all kinds of people who have great protocols and nutraceuticals and all kinds of things that are helping us figure out how to stay healthy in the inside of our body. Take care. Bye.